You're standing in front of the mirror. You've eaten well this week. You walked. You skipped the dessert you wanted. And the weight on the scale even moved a little. But that soft, firm roundness at your middle, the part that pushes against your waistband, hasn't budged. And a quiet voice asks, "Why is this the one place my body refuses to let go?" Here's the truth almost no one tells you. That belly is not listening to your willpower. It isn't a discipline problem, and it isn't just leftover padding. The fat wrapped deep around your organs is a different kind of fat entirely, and it answers to biology, not effort. The pinchable fat just under your skin, the kind you can grab, is called subcutaneous fat. It's mostly harmless, but the fat we're talking about today sits deeper, packed around your liver, your intestines, your heart. It's called visceral fat, and here's the part that changes everything. It isn't inert. It behaves almost like an active organ. It pumps out inflammatory signals and hormones that raise your blood sugar, stiffen your arteries, and quietly push your body toward the very diseases people fear most. So, when your belly won't move even though you're doing things right, it's not because you're failing. It's because visceral fat is wired into your hormones, your insulin, your stress hormone cortisol, in a way that a simple eat less, move more was never going to fully solve on its own. Understand that, and the whole problem changes shape. This stops being about shame and starts being about mechanism. And mechanisms can be worked with. So, in the next few minutes, I'll show you 3 things. First, a 10-second way to know whether you actually carry too much visceral fat, no scale, no lab. Second, the approaches that studies rank as genuinely effective, in honest order, so you spend your effort where it pays. And third, why some popular belly fat advice does almost nothing, so you can stop wasting time on it. No products, nothing to buy, just what the evidence actually shows. Let's start with the test because you can do it right now. Forget the scale for a moment. The scale can't tell fat from muscle, and it certainly can't tell deep fat from surface fat. Instead, take a tape measure and measure around your waist at the level of your belly button without sucking in. Then compare it to your height. A simple, well-studied rule of thumb: your waist should be less than half your height. So, if you're 66 inches tall, you want your waist under 33 inches. If it's over that line, it's a signal, not a verdict, that visceral fat may be worth taking seriously. Try it, and if you're comfortable, tell me in the comments where you landed. You won't be the only one surprised. Now the part you came for, what actually shrinks it, ranked by how much the evidence supports it, not by what sounds exciting. At the top, and it's not close, how you eat overall. Not a single magic food, the whole pattern. The strongest, most consistent thing in the research is reducing the refined carbohydrates and sugary drinks that spike your insulin and building meals around protein, fiber, and whole foods. Visceral fat is especially responsive to lowering that insulin load. This is the lever with the most evidence behind it, and it costs nothing but intention. Second, muscle and movement, but maybe not the kind you'd guess. Everyone's first instinct is endless crunches, and I'll be blunt in a moment about why that fails. What the studies actually favor is a combination of regular activity you can sustain and some form of resistance or strength work that builds muscle. Muscle quietly improves how your body handles sugar, which starves visceral fat of the conditions it loves. Even brisk walking most days, stacked with a couple of simple strength sessions, does real work here. Third, sleep and stress, the two everyone ignores. Short sleep and relentless stress keep cortisol elevated, and cortisol tells your body to park fat specifically in that deep belly area. You can eat and train well, and still be fighting your own stress hormone at night. Protecting your sleep and taking your stress seriously isn't a soft add-on for visceral fat, it's part of the actual mechanism. And a fourth honest note, for some people, especially with a lot of visceral fat and related conditions, medical options, including the newer weight loss medications, can meaningfully reduce it, but that's a conversation for you and your own doctor, not a shortcut to reach for alone. Notice what's not on this list. No single tea, no one fruit, no 5-minute routine that melts it off by Friday. Because honestly, none of those move the needle. Which brings me to the myths. Here's what quietly wastes people's time. First, spot reduction. The idea that crunches or a belly workout burns the fat sitting on top of your abdominal muscles. They don't. You can build the muscle underneath, but you cannot command your body to burn fat from one specific place with exercise. Second, detox teas and fat-flushing drinks. What you lose is water and money, not visceral fat. And third, the endless waist trainers and belts. They reshape you for an evening and change nothing underneath. The uncomfortable truth is that the deep fat only leaves when the entire system, food, muscle, sleep, and stress, shifts. There is no localized shortcut, and anyone selling you one is selling you the shortcut, not the result. Now take a breath, because here's the genuinely good news, and it's better than any gimmick. Visceral fat is often the first fat to respond when you change the pattern. It tends to come off before the stubborn surface fat you can see, which means your health can be improving on the inside well before the mirror fully catches up. But be honest with yourself about the clock. This is weeks and months, not days. Anyone promising your belly gone in a week is not being straight with you. What I'm describing is slower, quieter, and real, and unlike the gimmicks, it actually lasts. You are not behind. You just needed the honest map instead of the loud one. So, if you remember one thing, the fat around your middle isn't a character flaw, it's an active, hormonally driven tissue, and it answers to the whole picture, not to crunches, teas, or belts. Fix the pattern, food first, then muscle, then sleep and stress, and it responds, often sooner than you'd think. Measure your waist against your height. Pick the one lever from today you can start this week and give it real time. If this helped you see your body a little kindlier and a lot more clearly, leave a comment and share it with someone who's been fighting their belly and blaming themselves. And tell me, which of the 4 food, movement, sleep, or stress is the one you've been ignoring? I read them, and I'll see you in the next one.